This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hi everybody, welcome to another Painting with Rob. We're still working on Hate. We've got our great new camera here and we're really getting some, I think, very good pictures on how to do things, and I hope it helps you along, and I hope you're enjoying the better camera. I know it has actually made me try to paint a little bit better. So today, what are we working on? We're working on a two-headed mercenary. So he, there you go. Oh, wait a minute. I'm showing you the end product. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to look like. But how did we get here? How did we get this? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table and learn how to paint a two-headed mercenary. All right, like I said, we're going to be working on a creepy crawly here today, the two-headed creature. Now, I got a little head start here, and I just wanted to clue you in on what we are doing here. Right here, you could see that underneath here, I had primed him black. But then, what I did is I almost got this empty thing of palette witch flesh. So it's kind of nice. I've used this for over 2 years, believe it or not. You don't know how many times that we've used this on video, and finally this container has sadly expired, more or less. But all I'm trying to do is get a nice coat. I'm not worried about coverage here, and right now I know you're looking at this going, oh my god, that looks like garbage. No, just trust me, stick with me. If you stick with me, you'll see exactly what I'm trying to do here. All I want to do is just kind of get a good part of his flesh. As you can see, there's a lot of flesh area here, and you want to make sure. I'm going over the chain. We're going to have to go over the chain and some of his fur, you know, whatever he is. I mean, dear God, this guy is, he's pretty gruesome, to be honest with you. And just by getting this over, getting it into his face, into his mouth, partially, because we're going to go in there again. We're going to probably have to touch this up, but I'm not worried about it. But right now, we're just trying to perform coverage, and you can see I'm just moving this paint around. It's nice and okay. The next thing light is I'm taking some Carisburg Crimson, and I know what you're saying, Rob, what are you doing? Dear God, he's not red. Just trust me on this one. I really want to get this wash in here, and I want to cover it, and I don't mind that it's really doing a lot of different things, but I really want to spread this around. There's a reason for this. There's a reason for everything I do. At least I think there is. And I want to get this everywhere because I'm going to fix all this, but I really kind of want to work this pale kind of redness into the skin. But we're going to build out. Remember, when we use our wash, what we're trying to do, and we're taking this color and we're and you can see there's a lot of areas I missed because we're just going to paint over that anyways. And I'm not worried about, even if I got this red wash on there, it doesn't really matter. Like the fingernails, those are things that we're going to have to fix at some point. All I'm trying to do is get this wash onto everything that I made pale witch flesh. And there's a reason for it, because what it's starting to do is bring out some of the definition that I'm trying to pull out. Now, how we're going to bring that skin out, his skin isn't going to be red, but actually what we're going to do is we want to have those red highlights, so we have to work those in first before we can build outwards. At least that's the way I do it. Now other people do things differently, and that's fine too, but you got to find what works for you. And for me, this particular method really works, and I enjoy how this all works out. And this hand here is just being a pain in the neck because it's a really weird position for a hand to be coming out of the dude's chest. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. We're gonna let this sit for a while, and we're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm just gonna finish up moving this around. Remember, move it around until you feel comfortable that it's in everywhere, because you don't want any white holes coming through there. and like on this finger here, you know, you kind of just want to work everything in and get this particular color to work for you. Move it around so you don't see your brush strokes. That's another key point here, making sure that it gets in there and we move it around properly. Okay, next what we want to do is I want to come back with another wash over the top of this, and that's an Agrath Earthshade. Now you're saying, what the hell are you doing, Rob? I mean, have you lost your mind? Well, a little bit. But what I want to do is now I really want to get in these recesses, and I want to make a statement here, okay? And you can see that I'm still keeping that red underneath, that crimson underneath, but now I'm building into those recesses. And right now it's not going to look like much, okay? But when this dries, then we're going to start what the process really is going to be, and that's building out with this. We really want to start building outwards. So I don't want this red to take over, but I do want to get this to kind of get in there, because we're darkening everything up so we can build it out. It's a constant theme around here. So by doing this, and you know, right now you really just want to make sure that you get this spread out. It's not going to matter too much because the way we're going to build outwards, we're going to be applying a lot of dry brushing into the next technique. Now this is a little bit more difficult way to do things, and there's probably an easier way to do this, but for me, I find that I get the most bang out of my buck by just quickly doing this, and I always find this a faster way to really kind of work its way out. So like right here, I mean, watch how this, yeah, see how that just sits in there, especially for you guys that now can see everything because of the way we have the new camera system here. And this is one of the reasons I went out and I invested so much into the camera, is so that we can get these type of looks so you can see the result a lot clearer. It's pulling up a little bit. I'm not worried about that because of the way we're going to do the loadout and the build out, and I'm not worried about getting on any of that over there, because that's another thing that I'm only concerned about the skin here and how we're going to apply this and work this in and outwards. So I'm gonna keep working on this, and we'll come back once this all dries. Now this guy looks like a hot mess, okay, with double the washes on him right now, but don't worry about that. We got this. I hope we got it. I'm going to take some Cadian flesh tone, which is a little darker flesh, and I put it onto my thing, and I've taken a good amount of it off. I don't want a ton of it on here, and I've already started working here, and you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just very lightly. I don't want any kind of strokes in here. I don't want to see any kind of brush strokes, and I'm just very lightly kind of going over this flesh here. But I'm not taking, do you see how the indentations of the red and the brown are still working in here? And that's what I want. I'm not worried about going over things like this and stuff like that. Well, let's show you on this side real quick, and then what I'm going to do, because we'd like to keep these videos nice and manageable so you have an idea what's going on here. But you see how that's starting to come out? You see how that starts to work its way in? And all I'm doing, going over his hand. I'm not worried about this fur here because we're gonna change that to a totally different color. But the most important thing is establishing the skin here. So by doing this, I'm working into his neck here, up into here. There's some pustules here. We'll worry about those later. I don't mind going over those a little bit. And then all we're doing is just very lightly, again, you can see we're starting to color change. We're starting to bring this guy out. Now I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to show you the next layer of this and how this all comes together. One of the true joys of having this brand new camera is being able to bring you in on levels that I couldn't do before, and it really helps in teaching and things like this. Now, this technique I use is completely backwards probably to what anybody else does, but for me it just works the best. Double wash underneath the palette flesh, and then start to bring out with Canadian flesh, which is a little bit darker, and then work out into a Kesla flesh. Now this is where we really kind of start hitting the tops, where we're just kind of just brushing. So I get a little bit on here, and I'm sorry if I'm still learning the new camera, and I'm going to wipe that off camera, of course. As you can see, I have a little paper towel here, and for those of you that have never watched this before, and just take a little bit off, and then we're just kind of working our way around, okay? And just, this is where we're just kind of just ever so lightly. Now you see what I'm doing? I'm just hitting the top parts of this figure. And all I want to do is I want to keep all that stuff. Let's work with his face here a little bit. And I just want to bring that color in there over the top. Okay? This isn't even the last bit of it of what we're going to do. Just working your brush in there, and getting the flesh right off the bat makes it so much easier when you start working around this guy. You can see I'm working that brush, and I'm just getting that color onto the top, leaving everything underneath, so we have depth, we have perception, we have a feel of reality. And that's what we're going for. You can see all the nice detail, and these are beautiful models to do this type of technique with, and really just kind of work your way around. Again, just take your time. When you feel it's right, you'll know when it's right. You'll know exactly when it's right. And even right now, I don't even think it's right. I still have a lot of work to do. So I'm going to continue, finish this up, and then we're going to come back. All right, you can see what we've done here, how we've worked this flesh a certain way, and we're going to come back to this. Right now, what we want to do is we want to start getting this hair in. Okay, so we're going to start working that in, and I'm going to start very dark with a Skaven Blight Dinge, and what that's going to do is give us the hair that we want, and you know, the eyebrows and all the way down his back, and you know, right here in his arm. Now he's got some things through him, and what I'm going to do is, it's okay to paint over those because we're going to come back over that, but all we want to do is we're just concentrating on these patches of hair and how this is all going to come together on the old boy here. And boy, he is ugly. Well, his mom loves him, I'm sure. I'm sure that's somewhere in the case. Now over the bone here, it's tied with hair, and we have some horns down here, these bones here. We're just gonna paint over them. We're not worried about that. It's all getting into this area here and just working that paint in there, and just getting, you know, getting that hair in there, getting that set, and then that's how we're going to work out from with this guy. And we're going to this is another major part of him because it really just sits out on him. So I really want to kind of get this and really just kind of set it apart from the rest of him, and we'll highlight that as well. So I'm going to finish this all up. We'll come back when it's done, and I'll show you exactly what's going on here. Well, we're back, and unfortunately the big dummy forgot to do something, and we did some lead belcher around this chain. So I'm sorry, but I thought I turned on the camera, but I didn't. So we skipped ahead a little bit. Now we're going to take some Ushabi bone, and what we're going to do with our very sharp point number 3 brush. And this is one of the nice things about having this camera. Let me put down my shades here. Is we're going to start painting these horns in. Okay, he has like all these horns sticking out of him, and I just want to, this is the base coat for it that we're just going to put these on here, and this is going to, we're going to do this. We're going to do his thumbnails with it, okay? Because we're going to darken those up real nasty, because these are just, I mean, nobody has perfect nails when you are a cannibal, I guess. So we're going to get this Ushabi bone on here, and we're going to work that all in. And whoa, okay, there we go. And we really want this to stand out, because this is going to be a feature. We're going to do his teeth as well. I'm going to save his teeth for last, because I want to get inside his mouth. I want to get a little emperor's pink, so I'm going to not even waste time and do that. We're going to get that in there, and then we're going to do around the teeth, because we really want his mouth to stand out. We really do. So I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to get this done, and then we're going to come back. All right, as you see, we got the Ushabi bone all in there, and we're letting that dry. In the meantime, we are taking a little bit of administrative gray, and this is where we're going to bring out the hair parts, okay? And we just want ever so lightly, and you see how I'm just barely touching? I'm barely touching, and I'm doing this before we put our wash in, because that's okay. It's not going to wash it away, because we're going to wash all that stuff that has the Ushabi bone, but I really want this to kind of start to sit out here. Let's give you another angle of it, and you see how I'm just taking the brush. I don't have a lot on my brush, but I do put a little bit here on the napkin, and I'll work from the napkin a little bit, because I want this to sit right on top. See how now that's starting to bring all that to light? Exactly what we want. And being careful not to hit any of those bones, and just work our way around. And right on these outside, you could push your brush a little bit harder. There you go. And you can get that. That's exactly the kind of thing that we want right there. We want to work right in there. And you see I'm just giving a little bit more of a push, coming back over here, working in here. Turn your brush sideways, and you want to use one of these flat edge brushes. They really work well for doing this kind of work. All right, I'm going to finish this all up, and then you can see how it looks when we are done. Just the last couple parts here. I just want to talk, as you can see, we really brought out that gray there. I added a little ceramic white for the eyes, and a couple pustules here, just to make him even more gross than he already is. We're setting up for our last wash, which is going to be an Agrath Earth shade in here. And then afterwards, what we'll do is we'll come back over the top with a little Ushabi bone. Before we do that, we want to take some Necron compound, which isn't a favorite around here lately, and we're just going to tighten up that metal, really bring that the chain out. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how the wash goes on. Okay, next we are going to add our Agrath Earth shade, which is just a wash, and it's going to go over all the bone areas. And I'm using a smaller brush because I want to be very careful what I do here. So here we go. Number one, there's a nice bone right here that's stuck in this poor guy's side, and just going over, and it's okay if you get it on some of the gray there, but you really want to get into those fingernails, and you want that to sit right there. Let me just get a little bit more here. There we go. And you're just taking your time with this along the feet here. You just kind of want to, and it's okay if you get that on the sand already, but where it's really going to show and where it's really going to stand out, and that's right in this bone here. And you really want to make and work that around so it really brings out the bone, as we see right here. Darkens that up, gives a little shade around it, and of course into his disgusting teeth, because actually, you know, being a cannibal, you do not practice good hygiene. And that's for doggone sure. So we're just going to work a little over into there and into here, over here. So I'm going to finish this up. We're going to come back. I'm going to show you the final couple things that we're going to do here. And we're going to be well on our way done with this guy. And we move on to the next guy, right? So let's finish this up here. Okay, and finally on this guy, we just want to take a little Ushabti bone and just kind of go over, as you can see, I've already kind of gone over some of these areas, and just go over. See, now you have that beautiful depth there, and you want to just hit his teeth a little bit off the top, because, you know, he does like to eat a lot, and by doing that, he is just going over the top there, and you're just touching the top because the rest of it is all decay underneath, and the choppers that he uses, he's using those to cut through. So we kind of just want to just highlight that a little bit, but we don't want to really go down there because we want to keep that disgustingness underneath, because after all, he does not brush. Let's be honest. And just coming over the top of some of these, the fingernails, you just want to catch the edge a little bit, and there you go. And that's pretty much all there is to this guy. Next video I'll show you what we're finalized, because I'm just going to finish this up. But I mean, there you go. And it didn't take us very long. I think this took me about 35-40 minutes to do, and we got him all cranked out. It's just making sure your wash is dry, and then you layer out, and there you go. You got yourself a ugly beastie. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. You guys can do this. This is easy. If I can do it, you can do it. And that's the way we feel. So we're not even going to send this up top. We're just going to say, hey, that's it. And until next time, it's your old pal Rob. For me and the two-headed mercenary creep, we'll see you soon.